Harrison's Reality Check, sponsored in part by
Exergen. Now there's a new way to check for coronavirus symptoms at home with Exergen. Just like hospitals and medical professionals, simply hold it up to your forehead and know your status right away. Exergen. Make sure all your friends have one.
Harrison's Reality Check.
Who are we Americans? Whether we're from North or Central or South America, all of us have striven to understand our origins and our place in the world. Well, now there's a new controversy, and it's called the Kennewick Man, or the Ancient One. A set of 9,000-year-old human bones were found in the U.S. state of Washington. Then came the first confirmation that the original people in these Americas were genetically linked to Indigenous or Native Americans. Bad news for later arrivals, like families who came over on the Mayflower, like my family, who are just sort of an irrelevant tick on a 9,000-year-old calendar. But here's the controversy. America's indigenous peoples want to rebury these bones on spiritual grounds. Under U.S. federal law, the Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act, Native American remains found on federal or tribal lands are protected and are allowed to be reburied. But it wasn't going to be easy for the Indians because of the potential profit involved. Scientists claimed the right to study the bones under the U.S. Archaeological Resources Protection Act, saying the skeleton did not constitute Native American remains since they are not specifically connected with any presently existing tribe. But what, you say? What about the DNA evidence? Well, it turns out the University of Chicago did another DNA test and found conclusively, as in 100%, that DNA is in fact connected to the existing, that is, today existing, Colville tribes. That means the DNA of the Ancient One or Kennewick Man is only connected to Indigenous people and not, in fact, to Queen Elizabeth, the Pilgrims, or Richard Nixon. But there is a glimmer of hope for Star Trek fans, because in computer models based on Kennewick Man's skull of what he would look like today, we end up with the facial features, the modern facial features, of none other than Patrick Stewart. But at the core for many is obviously profit over people, after centuries of genocide and whole-cloth deletion of the history of Indigenous people. For your reality check, I'm Cary Harrison.
Harrison's Reality Check.